It has been explained to me that the appeal of James Bond is to watch someone very professional being extremely proficient with their skills. And I believe that. My YouTube recommendations are certainly a strong indicator of that, especially 3D modeling and the like, where it's like sped up. I seem to getting a lot of recommendations for that. I believe the James Bond top professional fantasy is what the Hitman games are trying to sell you. But first, you then have to practice. I don't know. I was never any good at those games. Besides, Tar is a movie. Uh, but Tar is a movie about a fictional but very accomplished conductor named Lydia Tar. And a lot of the movie is Tar explaining her craft, showing her skills, and talking about like music theory. By the way, shout out to Sideways here on YouTube for having introduced a lot of these themes, this the whole musical education. I would have been lost without his videos, especially the one about cats. Hopefully he's not all out of videos. I really enjoyed them. That is to say, Tar the movie and Tar the character drops all these names and concepts in your undefended face. There's just heavy on with, yeah, music theory or the theory, or what do you call it, the basic of music. Like when you study music, you learn to say a lot of words like bravado. And it worked. It actually worked for Tar. Like a movie had passed. First time I looked at my watch after having pressed play, and that is something. I can't remember the last time I watched a movie and like a whole hour just passed without me noticing. Um, it does, however, mean that once an hour passed in Tor, there's a full hour and a half left, otherwise known as a movie. I've said it before, and I think it holds true. If a movie is 2 hour long, we need to ask if something could be left out. And in the case of Tor, yes, quite a lot, in fact, could have been left out. I'm attempting not to spoil the movie. I generally um, don't want to do that, as I see these movies as a like gay and a. If you have any doubt of what to watch, what to watch. Um, but the movie has an almost even serving um, of the other side of Lydia Tarr's life, the cost of her success, if you will, and the consequences of how she uses her power and influence. Um, the movie helps to explain that quite well, how the conductor and the world of orchestra and the hierarchy and all that. So that was pretty well done. I felt enlightened. I felt that I understood what was going on, and that also helps to give a lot of a bit of a nuanced picture. Otherwise, Lydia might come off as some prodigy, which I mean, sure, but she knows her stuff. At least the movie made me feel that way. There's also a lot of what a crude man might call random, meaningless bullshit, and I'll leave it at that for the next few minutes. But it's definitely in there, as we talked about. As mentioned, things that could have been cut out. Yeah, easy to find. Kate Blanchett absolutely knocks it out of the park with her performance. Um, yeah, I did mention how at the first hour I was just mesmerized in front of the screen, right? That's a huge compliment. And she keeps the quality up and consistent even as the plot starts to unfold and to explore, go certain places. So this is here where I mention some of the nature about the ending of Toy. Um, if you don't want to know anything about the ending of Toy, and I'm just curious. Well, I guess we say our goodbye here. Thank you for stopping by today, but I think I mentioned it before. Like I am sensible to endings, so I'm gonna talk a bit about it. Uh, yeah, let's say you have been warned. um, I am sensible to endings. I know that's a bit of a me thing. That's just how it is. And Tar's endings rub me in all the wrong places. And so my experience of the movie as a whole is brought down. It was interesting or maybe funny. I don't know. I watched Tar over 2 days, um, because it was getting late, and I was like, okay, I'll stop here after the first hour 10 minutes, and then I'll catch up the next night. And while I was awake, I kept thinking that I was looking forward to spending more time with Lydia Tarr. So the movie has qualities. Take that as a recommendation. If you are more open to, let's say, open endings, especially the last 20 minutes of Tar, has a lot of things happening, and here you get kind of like double whammy or double negative of how the first 2 hours and 15 minutes spends a lot of time with non-essential stuff and some downright random crap. So the ending is a bit of a rushed fight. Tar does a lot of things, goes a lot of places, and I'm having difficulty finding out that it leads to anything. It leads to nothing. Nothing really. The movie kind of just ends. It just runs out. Of course, something has happened. We had a period of time in this person's life, this fictional character, but we have had a change to the everyday life. So the movie is about that, but I'm just struggling to find a point or a meaning, or if you will, just like saying. A lot of times I think you should ask, why was this story worth telling over other stories, or why was it worth telling this way? And I'm having trouble justifying that with Tar. I'm saying, why make this character and go through all that work for this ending? I'm not sure. So yeah, my whole experience is brought down a bit. So I'm slightly regretting having watched Tar somewhat. Of course, curiosity is the big thing. It's like, oh, Tar, what's this about? Now I know what's about, and I'm like, okay. And it is really the last 20 minutes that does it. There's a Kate Blanchett, and everything was going pretty great. I was invested in a lot of the twists and turns and ups and downs. There becomes a mixed in random weird thing. Like I always thought, oh, is something haunted or something like that? Actual ghost, what's going on? Doesn't really lead anywhere. Gets dissolved as far as I'm concerned. That takes me out of it a bit. So yeah, I guess this is just another middle of the road thingy where I can't really say no, you shouldn't see it, and I can't really say you should definitely see this over something else. Unfortunately, yeah. If you are very curious about Tar, you should get your curiosity satisfied. There is great performance in there. Most of the movie is good. As I said, the first hour I was mesmerized and only had to stop because it was getting late. So let's end on recommendation for that. We're saying out of the 2.5 hours, something like that, the 2 hours and 10 minutes are things are happening, and it's engaging. I think that's the best I can give you. I think I'll leave you with that. Thank you for stopping by today.